Hello and welcome to lesson 28 of the Learning Guitar series. In this particular lesson we're going to discuss the shape of G minor. In order to understand it, we need to start from the shape of G major. Let's start actually from a G major chord. I'm sure most of you know this chord. And given the nature of the guitar as a transposing instrument, we can literally transpose it across the neck of the guitar in all other keys. In this case, because the root note is here, this would be C major. And that's why we call these shapes and forms as opposed to chords. It's a chord at the moment I place it here, this is C. If I place the same shape up here, now this is E major. If I place it up here, now this is A major. As we know, in order to obtain minor chords, we simply take a major chord and we lower the third. So from a major chord we know is 1, 3, 5. We simply lower the third to a flat 3. Now, in the case of this particular shape, it's rather uncomfortable trying to, simply take this shape and move it to minor. When we did E major, the shape of E major, at least, to attain minor, we just had to remove this finger. Here we go. Much easier. In the case of G major, there are two thirds. One is here, one is here. Now, to lower this and obtain a chord, at least on the first 4 strings, kind of easy. This is G minor, in a G minor shape. So like this is A minor, because I'm starting from the 5th fret. Now, the other third, once lowered, becomes kind of impossible, at least for me. If you can do it, let me know, to kind of finger all this. Okay? Maybe with tapping, right? So we tend to move this flat 3 here, and from this shape we build smaller chords. What I mean by smaller chords, I mean chords that involve less than 6 strings, generally 4, maybe 5, as you will see in a second. So, as usual, there is a PDF that comes with this lesson which details all these particular shapes that we're gonna discuss in a second. Let me show it to you. So, as you can see, I start from a very small form over 4 strings, 1, flat 3, 5, 1. And then, of course, there is all possible variations. I put here the scale as a reference, so you can always see where the chord is, okay? And, of course, as I said, 4 strings, 5 possible strings, only 3 strings. As we will see in the future when we start studying chord melody, you see how it becomes really handy to have sometimes smaller chords, sometimes bigger chords. For this particular lesson, let's transpose everything in the key of E minor. So I take the G major shape, I'm up here now, so this is E major, and I'm gonna play now E minor. I'm gonna do it over 4 strings, the first 4 strings. We say that's 1, flat 3, 5, and there is another root note. Okay? Another way of doing this chord, which I actually personally like and I use very often, is actually to omit not to play the root note and start from the third, because this allows me to do third, so flat 3, 5, root note, that's another 5, that's another root note, so you have something like this. Now, the reason I'm doing it in the key of E for this particular lesson is so that I can use the empty strings to give you a reference of the sound. As I said, in a chord, I would omit it, but for now, so that's basically E minor in the shape of G. Because of this now, I have a lot of interesting shapes. Let me show you some of this. You'll hear them in a second. For example, these ones I particularly like. So this, by the way, for those that have never seen any of my lessons, when you see a white dot, it means that I'm not playing this note. It's there to give you a reference of where the root note is, okay? Flat 3, 6, 9, 5, flat 3, 6, 9, 11, flat 3, 5, 1, 11. As you can see, there's a lot of chords that I can get out of the scale. And if you see the scale here, that's what I'm doing. Flat 3, 6, 9, 5, flat 3, 6, 9, 11, flat 3, 5, 1, 11, maybe with a flat 7, maybe with a 6th. And let me play some of these to you so you have a reference. So as I said, I'm going to use E as a pedal so you can hear the differences. So this is flat 3, 6, 9, and 5. Flat 3, 6, 9, 11. flat 3, 5, another root note, and 11. Also, this is I like it, flat 3, 5, flat 7, or flat 7, flat 3, 11. So as you can see, you have all these interesting sounds. These are all minor sounds, eh? In this case, these, to me, they are all E minor plus embellishments. And if you studied the Dorian from the first lesson regarding Dorian, you'll know why I can add these extensions like 6, 9, so like 9, 11, and 13, and flat 7 is Dorian. When we study Aeolian, when we study Phrygian, we'll see that they're still a minor chord, but we'll add different colors to it. So you have this kind of sound. Don't forget, this is also E minor, right? So the shape of G minor is basically at the left of it, okay? This is very common, so probably this is what you're used to. So let's say if I was doing this in B, this is B minor, and of course what I'm discussing here is the same chord at the left of it. And I have all these interesting shapes, okay? Let's go back to E, because as I said, I have a pedal that I can use. And of course I can have, like, this is also a small version of it, 3 notes, root note, 3rd and flat 7, with a 6th, with a 5th. So that's just the triad, with a 6th, with a flat 7, okay? And of course I can add the 9 on top, or a flat 7, a flat 3. I can stretch it over, in this case it's kind of 6 strings, bit of like harder in a way, for me at least, and I don't enjoy this one, but 1, flat 3, flat 7 with my 3rd finger, and then my pinky is playing a triad basically. This is flat 3, 5, 1, so this by itself is E minor in a way. So in theory you can even do it 6 strings like this, okay? So if this is E minor, this B minor, A minor, and G minor. Now, this particular lesson kind of closes the Dorian parenthesis. We've done all 5 shapes when it comes to arpeggios and scales, and now chords. As I said, like if you are a supporter on Patreon, you'll be able to download the PDF that comes with this particular lesson, and again study some of these shapes. They will come back the moment we start doing some chord melody, and we will be doing that after we have studied Mixolydian. So after Dorian we're going to do first Mixolydian, which means dominant 7 chords, and still 5 shapes and all that. So you have major chords, minor chords, dominant 7 chords, and with that we're covering a lot of music, which means we can start doing chord melodies. And by doing chord melodies, some of the shape will kind of sneak into your playing, okay, a little bit at a time, because you actually end up using them as opposed to just trying to memorize a lot of different shapes. But at the moment, what you want to do is, let me just, okay, we're back, is to kind of start recapping your knowledge, and the cycle of 4th backing track that once again I uploaded to Patreon might help, but you can also do it without. A simple exercise, going from major to minor in the 5 shapes. Okay? When I say major to minor, I don't mean necessarily just, the triad. You can use whatever, whatever stayed with you. Like, you want to do major 7, minor 11s, it doesn't matter. To me, when I say major, minor, or dominant, I don't mean necessarily the triad, okay? Any color you can add, if you like the sound of it. So, for example, in cycle of 4ths, again, if you don't know it, means starting from any notes you want on a guitar. In this case, I'm going to start from G. And then, so I'm going to play G major, then G minor. And then from G, I'm going to move to the root, which is a 4th above. So from G, I'm going to go to C and play C major, C minor. The 4th of C is F. So I'm going to play F major, F minor. the fourth of F is B flat. It's, you know, a cycle of fourths is comfortable because it allows you to practice whatever it is that you want to practice, a scale or a page or a chord, like in this case. And it cycles all throughout the 12 keys. So, you know, it's a good cycle to verify that you know everything, you know, across the neck of the guitar. If you cannot remember the progression, so G, C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, C sharp, F sharp, B, E, A, D, back to G, I'm sure like a quick Google search will help you. Or again, if you are one of my supporters on Patreon, which I hope you will be, or if you are, thank you very much for your support, you will find most of this material, okay, available to you. Anyway, let's have a look. So basically what I'm doing is G major, and then G minor. Then I'm moving to C major, then to C minor. Then I'm moving to F major. This is F major 7, F minor 11. Then we're moving to what we just studied. It's like B flat, and I'm going to use the shape of G. So let's use normal ones here. B flat. So let's do B flat major, B flat minor, E flat major, E flat minor, A flat major, A flat minor, C sharp major, C sharp minor, F sharp major 7, F sharp minor 7. Now we are in B. I'm gonna do this, why not? B, forgot the major. B major, B minor, E major, E minor, A major. And if, you know, in a way, and as I continue, I'm going to slowly go up the neck. So I'm using basically the cage system in order to make sure that I have knowledge of major and minor chords no matter what I am on the guitar. So let's say we were starting here. So G major, G minor, C major, C minor. Now I'm in F, F major, F minor, B flat major, B flat minor, E flat major, E flat minor, A flat major, A flat minor. Okay? And I can continue. You can even think of giving it like some sort of rhythm to it, like G minor, C major, C minor, F major, F minor 11, B flat major, B flat minor, E flat major, E flat minor, A flat major, A flat minor 11, C sharp major, C sharp minor, and we can continue, okay? And then, you know, F sharp. Another thing you might want to do, and again, cycle of fourths. Another thing you might want to do to verify that you know basically like the 5 shapes, in this case just of Dorian, is to run instead the same chord horizontally on the guitar. What this means is start from, say, G minor, shape of E minor. Then I have G minor in the shape of D minor, okay? So now I have this. G minor in the shape of C, G minor in the shape of A minor, and now the last one we just added, or with starting from the 3rd. Okay, and you try and move across this. Again, you can use the PDF from all the previous lesson to find the chord shapes that you feel connect better. So for example, I'll give you an example. This is a minor, then minor with a 6. Which leads me not neatly to my next shape, which leads me next to my next shape, next shape, next shape, and basically went through basically just playing G minor across the guitar. Same thing, generally what I like to do, or what you can try, is to decide, like, say, one of the last strings, either the E string or the B strings, and find common chords that contains the string and just run up the scale. So, right? This is, say, G minor Dorian, basically. Right? This is starting from the root, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 8. So finding all the chord shapes that allows you to go up the scale. And you can go backwards, obviously. This is a nice chord. One day we're going to discuss also like the use of empty strings to create even more interesting colors, so closer voicings. So that's on the first string, and on the B string, same thing. So like G minor. Now it's got the sixth here. The flat 7, root note, 9, flat 3, 4, 5, 4, 4. These are all the chords we just studied today. Okay? In this case, I'm starting from the third. Same thing you can do with the bass. So like in this case, you can go 1. So this is the scale, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 8. The second in the bass, the third in the bass. 1, 2, 3, we're at the fourth, fifth. This, let's see, sixth, seventh. That's a nice chord. So root note, flat 7, sixth, 5, let's see, 4, flat 3, this should be interesting, root note. These are all things you can experiment with, obviously, you know, and the same thing, you can start from the fifth here, and this is not really like the concept of inversions, but also like if you think in terms of, okay, root note, flat 3, 5 on the same strings, you can use the same chord and say starting from the root, minor, one major, then starting from the third, then starting from the fifth. And when we do chord melody, this is going to be particularly important. I mean, these are not strict inversions, and if we discuss inversions at one point, you'll see. But to me, that's enough in terms of moving. If I have to move a minor chord, and I'm carrying the bass, of course, you can always start from root, from the triad, in terms of how the bass moves. Same thing, like if you do, say, if you approach it this way, and the melody is on the last strings. These are all, as I said, these are all G minor. What you want to do is eventually, throughout your practice regime, to try not to always stick to one key, because you're trying to train your photographic memory and your muscle memory. So in terms of photographic memory, if you keep practicing one single key, that particular key will, you know, when you're looking for it, it's going to pop out to your eyes straight away, but then suddenly, like if you want to play E flat, suddenly you're in a struggle, okay? Use the bass notes as a reference. That helps, at least it helped me, might help you. So if I'm thinking of a minor, say like A, I tend to see where the bass notes are, at least on the first three strings. Of course, I know that this is also an A or etc. But I tend to see this because I tend to remember that that gives me this shape if I look at the right hand side of it, and it gives me this shape, so the shape of E and shape of G, if I look at the left hand side of it. When I look at these bass notes, it gives me the shape of A on the right hand side, and it gives me the shape of C on the left hand side. And when I look at this bass, it gives me the shape of D. Now, the moment I see the shape, I can see the major, the minor, the dominant 7, half diminished, etc. But that's the way I kind of visualize them quickly in terms of photographic memory. So if you say E flat, automatically I see this. If I'm in this area of the neck, where I see this, or I see this, or this. Because I'm seeing this too. Okay? And of course then there's like all a bunch of sounds and shapes. As I say, to me, like, they're not necessarily chords. I don't call it chords, I call them shapes or forms. Some people call them forms. Because the guitar is a transposing instrument. So this particular shape, which is like A shape, it starts from this. It becomes E flat because I'm transposing it here. So this is my root note. This is E flat major 7. I hope this has been clear enough. With this lesson, we close the Dorian parentheses, and next lesson we're going to move on to Mixolydian. We're getting there. As usual, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments, or either on YouTube or on Patreon, it's the same. Once again, thank you for the Patreon supporters that are supporting this project, which is allowing me to kind of carry it on, but also like to keep it, for the vast majority of it, free. And of course, like, if you support me on Patreon, the minimum support is like $3 a month. As I said, this allows me to continue this work. And, well, until next time, I hope you're doing great. And, well, I look forward to the next lesson.